Okay, so yeah, you're most welcome to my page. The reason so for Kwaba, and then we have a lot to tell you, and around the continent a lot has happened, and today maybe show video be a very shocking, and for the benefit of those who doesn't understand my Ghanaian language, a lot has happened in the continent of Africa, and everything so comes with its own history and his own history behind it. And as long as we are here to learn history, as an African youth and as a person who like Africa, you need to pay attention. So your first question is, you need to ask yourself, do you pay attention to the things around you, things that's happening around the continents? And as usual, we are here to reason, and you're most welcome to my page, The Reason Show. Share the page. And tonight, you're about to watch an explosive expose from the US Congress. And quite interesting. The tell say we say for am Ghana, ni say maybe more video will be interesting. And me nanam sa na me kunya sa ankra we fi one of US congressman be our vocal when it comes to international politics and the concern of pursue the American interests. We're a very fantastic congressman, and obinim de bae na yakase as long as we need self-education, and no man be brave they will expose itself. And the only thing is say as an African will struggle, the struggling of an African, and I say the confusion of African mindset, and I say you're thinking, and I say you're fight, are confusion, are more. The only thing is say you need to pay attention and watch politicians around the world pursuing their interest in the midst of your own continent. And as long as you are from Kenya, South Africa, or any country, there's a problem that we are about to solve. And until say we are able to figure out the problems and as challenges we are facing as a continent, there's no way we can bring any solution, because the problems of Africans are too much, and there's no way we can solve these problems without identifying it. And one of them is politics, which the opponents and others say the oppressors introduced to us. And I'm going to show you a video, and it will shock you. Stay here, The Reason Show, Facebook, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel, and we have a lot to say. And what shall I say? I say a United States Africa Command, and in short, if I say AFRICOM. Now, what is the main purpose of AFRICOM? One of a high command collaboration between the African soldiers, military, and then in collaboration with the United States Army. And in a good way, they are there to protect one another, the interest of these countries. I think that they cover almost about 50 countries, with the exception of Egypt. So AFRICOM, a military institution, and I say organization. Now, this is AFRICOM, and yeah, so the meaning of AFRICOM and a lot of things are happening in the continent of Africa. Most of them after the early 1970s, coming to 70s, 75, 80s, a lot of coup d'etats are happening in Africa, and based on our governmental structures, automatically the leadership will emerge, but yet they will take them down. And a lot of countries are witness say coups, civil wars, and probably wars were unnecessary. Also destabilize the continent of Africa, and hindering the development of the people as long as the countries are concerned. So now this institution here is in Africa. AFRICOM is in Africa, collaboration with the Ghanaian African military and then the United States military. And one of the vocal congressmen at the exposition, quite interesting, and I want us to share and then analyze it, digest it, and then we should pay attention to what is happening around the continent. And we'll be able to say, what is the interest? And I say, a congressman to come out with this expose, question the hierarchy of the American military. Why? Means the American interest is first. So before we watch that, I just want you to pay attention to understand certain philosophies and also agendas and also institutions in professional way. We might think say they are there to help us because Africans are in the midst of war, civil wars, coup d'etats, and whatever. So the United States Africa Command, which is the AFRICOM, is there to unify a combat command, which they have a combatant. And this combatant are there to help the African military in terms of safeguarding the peace and stability of this continent. Fair enough, it's good. But there's one thing that we need to pay attention. This congressman, I'm making a claim, and that's why I expose you the hierarchy of the U.S. military. Now, we are going there to watch the video, and then we will do this analysis to understand, and then future for the benefit of our future references. One day, let us ask ourselves, why? Why is it that any time there's more coups in Africa, there's more demonstrations, there's more destabilization, there's more destruction, as long as a continent, if we are described as a third world country, and I say poverty is in high level. Why? Why are there some type of countries be pushing their interest in the name of say they are there to help you? So this AFRICOM and the U.S. congressman be a question woman for interest and also influence in Africa, and by the training, by doing so, we question woman say why is it that anytime be training the African military and I said the African force most of them they end up in doing coup d'etat? That's an interesting question. But let's review this video and then we will come back. And quite interesting, and it's more of education, and it's a CSUA different. So I'm going to show you a video here which this congressman is making a claim that as he being American citizen, he still doesn't understand why, and Sani Manisi Ekoso say soldiers are America training umbiano omoko baka. The only thing they say they resorting coup d'etat. Well, we don't know. So let's review this video and then we will take it from there.
I have constituents that have been scattered across Africa on train and equip missions. So just ballpark, in the last decade, how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, I don't have that figure. I can get that figure for you.
Ballpark, just, how many?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess right now.
Seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, but including
like more than 10,000?
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000?
I'd say we're reaching around 50,000
okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman, very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
But it does happen.
The IMET program is in force, and we've pushed a significant number through our schools across the
and what data sets do you track to arrive at the conclusion that less than 1% of the roughly 50,000 that we've trained have participated in coups? Because it'd be like about 500, about 1% of 50,000.
Congressman, you may have that information. I don't at this time, but I know.
Well, I know there are some, right? Like go ahead and throw up that image. This is Colonel Mamade Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him? In Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel Mamade Doumbouya, that's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
Do we share core values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Core values. I will repeat that. Core values. Respect for humanity.
Do we share those values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Absolutely. In our curriculum.
He led a coup.
We do.
Okay, well, that's a very telling answer. In Burkina Faso, did we share core values with the leader that we trained there who led a coup?
It's in our curriculum. We
Leading
stress
coups
core
are in our
values.
curriculum?
We request civilian-led governance.
Wait, hold on. Is leading coups in our curriculum?
Absolutely not.
So
Civilian-led.
My question is, do we share core values with the coup leader in Burkina Faso, who we trained?
Holistically, we teach core values with a respect for civilian governance, apolitical, and that's what sticks across a very high percentage in the 99 percentile.
Right? But not everybody. And I wonder how many people it takes to.
Now, I want you to pay attention to this banter between the congressman and then the high commander of this AFRICOM. Now, so if you watch this interviewer, you can see, sir, this man is so confused. The commander, the man in charge of the military, is so confused to the extent that you see how he is fumble. You see, on the way and not see people, he is fumble, and like it shows you there's something there which this man doesn't want at all to explain, and you can see how the congressman is pushing him, exposing the deals of this military, the deals behind. The combatant between the African forces and the United States forces in the Africa, which end up a lot of them endure themselves into coup d'etats. Now, somebody will say, we don't care about coup d'etats as of now, but you should care about it, because all these institutions claiming to be there for you are not there for you. And the fact is, every country pursues their own interest. That we always say to you that it is not bad for a country to pursue its interest or her interest. So, and it's also not bad for you or for me as an African to defend and then to defend my interest. Now, listen, America defends its interest 24/7. Europeans defend to them. Asians are defending themselves. Now, you as an African does not understand how to defend yourself, to be defensive. So that is why we always depend on the institution that we think they are there for us. Now, according to this Congressman Matt Gaetz, he's trying to push the guy. Now, I want you to pay attention. Watch this analysis. Watch the banter, the exchange. It shows you something. And if you are a person that you understand geopolitics and political dynamism, you will understand why the soldier does not want to talk about some issues. Now, watch here. Pay attention more.
Plan a coup. I mean, initially you didn't know how many we trained and equipped. Then you said it was 1%. You had no basis for that 1% number because there's no data set you tracked. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. Another U.S. trained soldier stages a coup in West Africa by the Intercept.
Without objection, so ordered.
And I further seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. U.S. forces trained the Guinean colonel behind the recent coup in West African country, and this is regard to Guinea.
Without objection, so ordered.
So I guess...
Okay, so... this congressman is trying to tell us something here, which you as Africans must pay attention to it. That a day in the Bebama congressman will be to me pushing certain agenda in the House of U.S. Congress, and it tells you, say, BBSC, and a lot of things has happened during the early stages. And when it comes to international stages, nobody will defend your interest. But this congressman is defending the American interest. Why are they spending so much money? Why are they training African soldiers? At the end of the day, they create refugees, they create famine, they create destabilization of their economies. The man is interested about that. But at the end of the day, he does not think about you. But the main problem here is they are defending their country's budget. Now, don't you think like that? Now, let me show you something here. I want to show you something here. See this guy here. Now, this is the guy that this congressman is talking about, and his name is Mohamed Damboya. Recently, an Oyeku, Guinea. So, you are witnessing a lot of coups in Africa, and most of them, it doesn't make sense. And the style of our political structure and the development, and it shows you, say, and you'll be interested, they always educate this kind of leaders so that when they come to power, they will get an opposition and then it will result in this coup d'etats. Because you know why? the type of the structure now said the political education now, a lot of African men and I say women, they endure and I say they go through. It does not give them any idea of even how the world is even running. They are interested in just taking a leadership position. That's all. Most of them does not understand how to be defensive, because they think I have the degrees, I have the capacity, I can lie to the people, I can confuse them, convince them, deceive them, and then they'll vote for me, and at the end of the day, the world will accept me. So it also makes it so easy for this establishment to also make sure they will bring somebody who will be a puppet to them, and that's a fact. So as a young African, you must pay attention to what is going on. And you know why I always say this? When it comes to politics, they make it as if like it is not your business. But listen, when you don't have job, when you don't have social amenities, it's because of politics. Because you know why? Politicians at the end of the day are managing the affairs of day-to-day administration, and they are in charge of all these social amenities that you are not getting. So as long as you are African, you must be interested in politics. And if you don't want to get involved, they will rather put you in a certain corner, like be interested in football, be interested in Hollywood, be interested in music, just be fashion and then stay there. But when you don't have economic stability, your fashion and your music and everything is nothing. I am telling you the fact. So that's why you like the African youth is interested to talk about the British, the America, or the Europeans, because why? They have economic stability. They have a fertile land for politics and for any other thing. But when it comes to our side, because of coups, because of certain agendas, institutions around us, which they pursue their interests, they are not there for you. And we also have that don't have idea of the main agenda, the reason why this type of institutions are there. We don't understand the game. And that is why you can see this. And so we'll watch the video again, and then we need to reason. Welcome to my page, The Reason Show, and we need to reason. And well, I always said I learned to live this world, because hey, you can't change things that is more bigger than you. The only thing is you tell them, and those who have ears will listen, and those who have eyes will see. So to expose this, it needs to get some people who have courage and who have extensive thinking, critical thoughts that we want to explain this, we want to understand this. So now, for the help of this congressman, me know you and I, let me switch back. Me know as a Ghanaian, yenyani pefe say enkofo we mu are ready there say enye we interest in here. Now, let me also show you something here. Okay, so this was the picture that the congressman was showing to the world, that this is the guy. And all this, the guys that you're seeing them are all U.S. forces. And but we are also a U.S. embassy of the United States. And the next month, and we cool, Guinea. Fair enough. I didn't know we cool because of say the waterson and Yema Woyen does not favor beyond on interest. Now you must say after cool, yeah. Now what is the interest? What is the benefit? Do the country move well? After coups, all the countries now, as claimed by the U.S. Congressman, Martin Gates, Matt Gates, Asama Walker, Utia, after coups, do they get any benefits? Does it help the African? No. The answer is no, because all the countries are facing a lot of coup d'etats. There's nothing better over there. You can start mentioning the countries. So it tells you, sir, only just a continent, the interest of others need more than the interest of the people living around the continent. And sometimes if you don't play your cards well, and when it comes to these sensitive issues or trying to expose the things that the African doesn't pay attention to, you become the target. And as long as I said every country defends their own interest, it's not wrong for us to also defend our interest. But it takes the people, it takes the numbers to defend themselves. But when it comes to a situation where the African is not interested about African matters, the African is not interested about things happening around him, they are interested more of defending other things that he or she have no idea. It becomes so difficult and it becomes a challenge for the people, people like that to unite or to move forward. Now, when it comes to this situation, that when you see politicians coming out to expose their own systems or institutions, it tells you that you need to pay attention. Now, first, the question that I will ask anybody watching me around the world, that you check the media, check the traditional media or the woke agenda media. You see, they are not interested about the things that you are crying for. They are not interested about your development. They are not interested about your certain level of colonial education. They are not interested. They don't report on your educational system. These media houses, start to mention the BBC, CNN, the Chinese media, which is the CGTN, and then the India, the WION. All these media houses are scattered in Africa. They always report on the news that favors their masters. You see, they are not interested about your developmental strategy. They are not interested about building the industries or how to develop. They are not interested about your resources. They are not interested about anything that you do to defend, to help you. But they are more interested about the news that will go against you. So, as this message came out, how many media houses that you have seen them putting out this media house to tell Africans that, oh, one U.S. congressman, a vocal U.S. congressman is saying this. So Africans must pay attention because there's something in the back of the curtain. There's something secret. Some secret is in what the man is saying. Because how can a congressman that is an American citizen will expose the whole military hierarchy? That why is it that anytime they train Africans, the next time you see them is cool? Why? So the man is telling them, the whole world, something that you have to pay attention. The man is telling something. This congressman is exposing his own country, exposing his own military, that when you train the African, the next time they will endure themselves into coup. They will become power hungers. They will get drunk with power, and they will chase their own people. They will destroy their own country in order for them to take control. And when they take control too, it does not go in favor of the country. It's just a leadership. That's all. That's how you see them over there. So you as an African must see this, and then you must learn something from it. And you shouldn't play with when politicians like this vocal politicians are talking. You don't play with it. You don't just you don't just take it as, oh, it doesn't matter. No, this matter is a kind of a big expose that when you watch the video, you watch the analysis, it tells you that, hey, something is happening somewhere. And we don't need a professor to tell you. The professor won't tell you. The professor of your university will never tell you. You know why? Because they have no idea. They don't understand how politics of defensive is happening around the world. How politics of dependent, politics of interest. They don't understand. They think it's a line that we Africans must follow the line. You must follow it. So when it doesn't get to your stage, you stay where you are. And it's so funny. It's so funny to us. So maybe if you just join us, but this is the man that he was being grilled by James Mattis, U.S. congressman, and was being exposed. He is the commander of AFRICOM, which is the African United States of Command and military, and then African military in command, safeguarding the continent. That's a fantastic move. But is it really true that they are there to defend Africans? Why is it that they are asking this man that? Why is it that anytime they train these African soldiers, most of them will join this coup d'etat mission? Why? So is somebody sitting somewhere training some people, identifying the hot spots in Africa, trying to always make sure something go down? Because they are good when it comes to research. Some people are good in doing research about something, and they don't play with that. People don't sleep. Some people don't sleep. Maybe you sit in Africa, you sleep a lot. You don't like doing research about some things. And when somebody cooks some food and you think that food is good, you want to buy the food, you need to do research more on that food. So when somebody have interest about something, they pay time, they spend time on it. So don't you think these people spend more time on things that will benefit them in these countries? Don't you think that? Because we didn't tell the congressman to say this. They came in their own way to explain this to us, to the whole world. And we got the video. And this man is in charge. This officer is in charge. And you as African that watching me, What do you think? What do you make of this? What do you think? What do you think? Do you still think that these people are there for us? In any country that you're watching me, we need to reason. Welcome to my page. The reasons to share the page, follow us, and then subscribe to my page. We have a lot to say in a professional way. At first, we used to talk with emotions, but that won't solve anything. It's about critical thinking. It's about paying attention to what is happening around the world. It's about paying attention to your people. It's about understanding where you are coming from so that it will help you to know where you're going. But some of us, especially the young ones of today, because of the type of education that these guys are giving to you, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters to you. But when you are hungry, when you are being disrespected around the world, then you start complaining. But I told you, and I am saying it again. Check the media houses around there, the so-called establishment, the traditional media. Have you seen them that are reporting and telling you Africans that, hey, Africa, you see, this man is saying something. This is happening around your continent. So you must do it. Have you seen that before? They are not interested about things that will destroy you. They are not interested. They are interested about things that they will benefit from. So once again, let's see the banter. And it's quite interesting that I just asked myself, why is it that this congressman will push or will supine the whole of military hierarchy to their Congress room or whatever, and then try to question them? No, they need more answers. First, they are defending the America. That's good. Defending America is one positive aspect. But do the African defend the Africa? Okay, listen.
I have constituents that have been scattered across Africa on train and equip missions. So just ballpark, in the last decade, how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, I don't have that figure. I can get that figure for you.
Ballpark, just, how many?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess right now.
Seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, but including
like more than 10,000?
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000?
I'd say we're reaching around 50,000
okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman. Very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
But it does happen.
The IMET program is in force, and we've pushed a significant number through our schools across the.
Yeah, and what data sets do you track to arrive at the conclusion that less than 1% of the roughly 50,000 that we've trained have participated in coups? Because it'd be like about 500, about 1% of 50,000.
Congressman, you may have that information. I don't at this time, but I know.
Well, I know there are some, right? Like in.
Now, listen. See, do you think these people that they are so knowledgeable, they are so professional, they are abreast with current issues, they have information? Do you think these people will come and sit in camera like that and try to be fumble? Do you think it might happen like that if there's no security in what they are saying? I'm asking you. Don't you think there's like somebody doesn't want to talk about something? Because look at how the congressman is pushing this military officer, the commander. Can't you see there's something fishy in what they are talking about? Can't you see that? It's quite interesting. And the only thing that I will say is, as an African, pay attention to politics. Pay attention to what is happening around the world. Because if you don't pay attention, nobody will come and tell you how to defend yourself. No one in this world will do that. Nobody. Because, you see, it's like a competition, and you must learn your own strategy, how to compete with others. And now, these bigger countries that we are all we think that they are there. When they eat, when they finish eating, they will give us the rest of the food. It is not like that, because every day in and day out, countries are emerging, countries are coming, countries are emerging. So everyone is trying to push or maintain or try to add up something. They try to update themselves. So it is your own responsibility as a country, as a people, to also update yourself. Don't rely on this old archaic instructions from your masters, your policies and program structure, old structures. Don't rely on it too much, because the more you rely on those old stuffs, the more you become so old. And the new things, you will never realize the new things happening and in terms of development. So the more that Africans are still sleeping on their bed, but the backyard, sleeping on their bed, waiting for the America or the Australians or the Europeans or the Asians to come and save us or rescue us from our economic challenges, it is a joke. We are joking, and anybody that also trying to understand competition will laugh at you, and they will never advise you that, hey, wake up. Because when you wake up, you give me a tough challenge, a tough competition. Because right now we are talking, if you see how the competition between the America and the Chinese, you will see how every country is trying to defend itself. Every country is trying to improve the life of their citizens. So they will not leave Americans there, leave Chinese there, or Japanese there, and come and improve the life of your people. They will never do that, and you can't blame them. You have to blame yourself. Stop wasting time. Stop following unnecessary things as a people, and pay attention. Learn strategy. We must change our educational system. Change it by yourself, because if the system doesn't change, that you have no reason to stay there. I'm waiting for the system to change me. You have no reason. The reason is change yourself now, because for now, even the young ones of today, you have the access of the internet. You have access of global village. So there's no way you can still wait for the old system to change you, because as we are quoting to you, it is old system, and those systems are there to put you into where you belong. Let's continue to watch the video.
Go ahead and throw up that image. This is Colonel Mamade Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him in Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel.
You see the interesting part? The whole commander saying that by name he doesn't know him. Yes, he doesn't know him. It's a fact. But yet the congressman is pushing, hey, Mr. Man, no, you are lying. You know this guy. You know this guy. We train him. We train at the end. He did a coup. He did a coup. He destroyed his country by coup. He's in the coup list. So the man is trying to do some ways and means. But let's watch it.
Mamade Doumbouya. That's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
Do we share core values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Core values. I will repeat that. Core values.
Now, listen to the interesting part. You see, the congressman asked the man, the commander, that does it concern you when your soldiers or your students found themselves in coup d'etat? Does it concern you? You see, I always tell you, no one have your interest. No one is interested about you. You see, the man did not answer that. As a commander that is pursuing an headquarters in Germany, helping African combatants between African whatever, they used more terms like safeguarding the continent. The man couldn't even answer, because it is not as part of his job to be interested in what happened to you. And you can't fault him. Don't you see that? You can't fault him. He didn't want to answer that question. Don't you see that? He doesn't want to answer whether he's interested or he's worried or he's concerned about coups in Africa. They are not interested about that. So the big question is, so if they are not interested about the safeguarding the continent, what is the importance of this AFRICOM? What is the importance? Who is causing those wars that they need military compilation or military collaboration? Who is causing that wars? What is the interest of these countries coming together in the name of military compact agreements? Let's position. Position for what? The people are hungry. The people does not have job. The educational system is not good. The people does not have industrial revolution mindset. The people does not understanding how the world is going. Is it about military? Is it about bringing military? No, that's not the case. No. They can fool some people sometimes, but they can fool all of us all the time. But the fact is, I understand them. They are playing their game. So what game are we also playing? What game are we also playing? But as usual, we have no idea of how things are moving. So let's watch the man. He's going to fumble.
Respect for humanity.
Do we share those values with Colonel?
Absolutely, in our curriculum.
He led a coup.
We do.
Okay, well, that's a very telling answer. In Burkina Faso, did we share core values with the leader that we trained there who led a coup?
It's in our curriculum. We
Leading
stress
coups
core
are in our
values.
curriculum?
We request civilian-led governance.
Wait, hold on. Is leading coups in our curriculum?
Absolutely not.
So
civilian-led.
My question is, do we share core values with the coup leader in Burkina Faso, who we trained?
Holistically, we teach core values with a respect for civilian governance, apolitical, and that's what sticks across a very high percentage in the 99 percentile.
Right? But not everybody. And I wonder how many people it takes to plan a coup. I mean, initially you didn't know how many we trained and equipped. Then you said it was 1%. You had no basis for that 1% number because there's no data set you track. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. Another U.S. trained soldier stages a coup in West Africa by The Intercept.
Without objection, so ordered.
And I further seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. U.S. forces trained the Guinean colonel behind the recent coup in West African country, and this is regard to Guinea.
Without objection, so ordered.
So I guess the question is, why should U.S. taxpayers be paying to train people who then lead coups in Africa?
Congressman, our curriculum harvests core values and also to be able to embolden these countries for a representative democracy.
But General, that democracy isn't what emerges. The problem is, I know you may have great confidence in what you're teaching, but when two governments have been overthrown, I guess how many governments have to be overthrown by people we train before you sort of get the message that our core values might not be sticking with everyone? Is it 5 countries? 10?
We'll continue with our persistence in assuring
But do you think it's
that they harbor democratic norms, democratic values.
Just a moment ago,
you
said we shared core values with Colonel Doumbouya. You said that just moments ago in response to my question, and his core value seems to be leading a coup. So I don't think it's stuck. I think we should at least know how many countries we train the coup plotters in. How many is too many? Because clearly 2 is not too many, and I think we could use our resources far more effectively than doing this.
Okay, fantastic.
The ones scattered across Africa on train and equip.
The congressman have said whatever he want to say, and it's quite interesting. The rest is for us also to digest it. There is for us as our responsibility for us also to learn from it, to understand what is happening around the continent. And as long as we are eager for some development, there's no way we will leave these things behind, because the more you are pushing, the more somebody is pulling you down. The more you are pushing, the more somebody pulling you down. And these congressmen have shown us something that the political class, you know what I mean. And I say I learned to live this world, so I know where to talk, when not to talk. So when they got their training, at the last resort is they have to do something in the continent. That's a fact. And that when we are not seeing development, don't think that they know and they don't want to do. Don't ever think that. Don't think that, this leadership, they can do this. No, they know. So ask yourself, why is it that AFRICOM is not in Egypt? Ask yourself. Why is it that the AFRICOM is not in Egypt? Egypt is not part of AFRICOM. Ask yourself. It's quite interesting, and it's politics. And the Ghanaian youth must understand politics. Because if you stay away from politics, if you don't want to follow politics, they will use political strategy to control you and to destroy you. And everywhere you go in Africa, they are crying. Poverty, system collapse everywhere. Talk of Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Congo, Uganda, Zaire. So everywhere, the youth are crying about a political failure. It tells you something. At the end of the day, who brought these leaders into power is you, because you does not understand where the leader is coming from. You don't want to know, but yet you want to vote for the person. At the end of the day, you want to cry. Nobody take you serious. This is a fact. The reason why I'm compelled to speak English is we have a lot of brothers and sisters who live around the globe and in part of our continent that the only language that they understand is English. Now, the fact here is, with any country that you are watching me, you understand that you does not care about politics. You are interested about just democracy, voting. But in the presence of democracy, don't forget this. As the congressman is saying, exposing the military command, exposing them. Why do you train these people? At the end, they become coup makers. Why? It's a question that as a youth, you need to start learning. I said, don't put your trust or yourself into this kind of Western so-called old archaic education system. No, that one, the professor can't teach you anything. The professor have no idea. He's so weak, he's so frightened, he's so fearful that he doesn't want to talk about it, because these things are very diversional. These issues are very contemptuous. It's kind of contempt to others. They don't want you to talk about it. And as I said already, it is good for America to defend America. It's good for Asia to defend Chinese. It's good for India to defend India. So it's nothing wrong that I need to talk to my people as Ghanaians or as Africans. There's nothing wrong. So if you don't have this courage, this capacity, the professor does not understand that he can't talk about this. That is why the last time I have an issue with CONGRESSMAN in South Africa. When they are in power, they need to say things that when they are not in power, they want to tell us. We don't want to listen to that. If you think you have a boss, you are man enough. When you are in power, tell them that they are thieves. Don't wait when you lose power or when you're out of political office, then you come out to tell us, explain what these people are doing to us. We don't want to listen that trash. We are not interested about that. That's why I told you, your professor cannot tell you that. He can't speak the way I'm talking to you, because I pay attention to a lot. And the reason why I spend my money traveling around the world is I want to understand, why are we not developing? Why the minds of our people are so weak? Why are we not able to identify the talent in Africa? Why is it that any political government comes in just 4 years manifesto? Why? It shows you who is training the people. It shows you where we are getting our training. And we are interested about, speaking somebody's language so professional. We speak good English, that's it. And we does not understand the game. Anyway, let's end it here. The reason, so share the page for the references of our future. This video will be there. And if you want to understand politics, geopolitics, or globalization, make sure you learn by yourself, because they will never help. You won't go to school to learn what you don't want to. They don't want you to learn. No school will teach you that, and I understand that, because when it comes to globalization, the global system, it's like a boxing ring. Taking Mayweather as a heavyweight champion and bringing me as zero. I don't have any belt, and you put these two of us in the ring, and you command us to fight. What do you expect at the result? Mayweather will kill me. This is how you call it globalization. And if you want to learn it by yourself, peace unto you. This is a reason show. We are here to reason, and let me drop the curtain here, and then we shall continue the other time. So before we go, let me drop the video.
So just ballpark, in the last decade, how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, I don't have that figure. I can get that figure for you.
Ballpark, just, how many?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess right now.
Seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, but including
like more than 10,000?
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000?
I'd say we're reaching around 50,000
okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman, very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
But it does happen.
The IMET program is in force, and we've pushed a number a significant number through our schools across the
Yeah, and what
military
data
infrastructure.
sets do you track to arrive at the conclusion that less than 1% of the roughly 50,000 that we've trained have participated in coups? Because it'd be like about 500, about 1% of 50,000.
Congressman, you may have that information. I don't at this time, but I know.
Well, I know
it's
there are
very small.
some, right? Like go ahead and throw up that image. This is Colonel Mamadou Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him? In Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel Mamadou Doumbouya, that's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
Do we share
stick to
core
that.
values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Core values. I will repeat that. Core values. Respect for humanity.
Do we share those values with Colonel Doumbouya?
Absolutely. In our
do?
curriculum.
He led a coup.
We do.
Okay, well, that's a very telling answer. In Burkina Faso, did we share core values with the leader that we trained there who led a coup?
It's in our curriculum. We
Leading
stress
coups
core
are in our
values.
curriculum?
We request civilian-led governance.
Wait, hold on. Is leading coups in our curriculum?
Absolutely not.
So
civilian-led.
my
Civilian-led.
question is, do we share core values with the coup leader in Burkina Faso who we trained?
Holistically, we teach core values with a respect for civilian governance, apolitical, and that's what sticks across a very high percentage in the over 99 percentile.
Right? But not everybody. And I wonder how many people it takes to plan a coup. I mean, initially you didn't know how many we trained and equipped. Then you said it was 1%. You had no basis for that 1% number because there's no data set you track. Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. Another U.S. trained soldier stages a coup in West Africa by The Intercept.
Without objection, so ordered.
And I further seek unanimous consent to enter into the record. U.S. forces trained the Guinean colonel behind the recent coup in West African country, and this is regard to Guinea.
Without objection, so ordered.
So I guess the question is, why should U.S. taxpayers be paying to train people who then lead coups in Africa?
Congressman, our curriculum harvests core values and also to be able to embolden these countries for a representative democracy.
But General, that democracy isn't what emerges. The problem is, I know you may have great confidence in what you're teaching, but when two governments have been overthrown, I guess how many governments have to be overthrown by people we train before you sort of get the message that our core values might not be sticking with everyone? Is it 5 countries? 10?
We'll continue with our persistence in assuring
But do you think it's
that they
working?
harbor democratic norms, democratic values.
Just a moment ago,
apolitical.
you said we shared core values with Colonel Doumbouya. You said that just moments ago in response to my question, and his core value seems to be leading a coup. So I don't think it's stuck. I think we should at least know how many countries we train the coup plotters in. How many is too many? Because clearly 2 is not too many, and I think we could use our resources far more effectively than doing this.